Hi everyone, I've been sent yet another bike, so we're going out testing it today. Yeah, let me turn it on first. Can I with my gloves on? No. Let's stop off and turn it on. So that's the first thing. Oh, I was pressing the wrong switch. I was going to say you can't operate it with gloves on, but I'm going to try now. I've taken everyone's note. Oh, you can operate it with gloves on, no worries. Yeah, no problems. Yeah, I've taken everyone's advice. Started wearing gloves. I get it, it's not my preference to be honest, but we'll go with it. All for making sure that you're putting out the correct practices all the time. Me personally, I'd be fine without gloves, but they are an important part to riding. So yeah, wear them. Okay, so what I'm doing today is I'm testing a new bike I've been sent. Interestingly, it's called the Crazybird jumper. I did have plans to go to Llandegla today, North Wales, and go and take this up a big mountain, well, big for the UK, and then come down, but travelled back from London over the weekend, and we had someone in the family who was pretty ill, so we got back late. I didn't have a chance. So what I'm going to do today, although this is me on a bike and it's going on the main channel, what I'm going to be looking at is how cyclists have to act and have to ride to try and educate the motorists a little bit more. Thanks to the late signal, but anyway, no problems, I was still able to keep it on the move. So yeah, what I'm going to be dealing with today is we're going to be having a look at this bike, but I'm also going to be looking at, like I said, things that cyclists have to do to keep themselves safe, because motorists literally don't know. They're terrible. So this bike, first impressions, it's a heavy thing. It's quite similar in nature to my Himaway, and it's got big 4-inch fat boy tyres. You're okay, buddy. It's got big fat boy 4-inch tyres. It's got it's a e-bike. It's got electrical assist, 250 watt motor. But the difference with this is it's got hydraulic brakes compared to the Himaway. We're going to be having a little look at these. One thing that I did say about the Himaway is that with the weight of the bike, personally I think the bike could do with some stronger brakes, and on first impression they're okay, but they're nothing like my brakes on my Giant. I'm pretty glad that I didn't take this down a trail, because I don't think I'd be able to cane it like I normally would. But anyway, we're going to talk about the bike. It's nice and comfortable. It's got front suspension, not rear suspension, so it's a hardtail, but the big wide tyres make things honestly really comfortable. Let's just have a little go. Shifting a couple of gears. No, not bad. Not bad at all. I'm in the lowest level of assistance, and some people, even recently, are quite detrimental towards the e-bikes. But honestly, if you want to have some assistance, you can. If you don't want any assistance, you don't have to. You can get a workout. So I personally think they're good. They're good for all different type of people. You're watching me get crashed into here. I'm ready to bail off from your left hand side. This is the classic position. So you're going to let me go? It would be nice if she did, but the van's ready to drive over the pavement. I wonder, is she going to make eye contact and wait? Thank you. So she's already onto it. I'm off out. Thank you. All right. So that was good. The specs of the bike, it's got Shimano gears, 7-speed. It's the basic systems, not brilliant again. I don't think it would be ideal if you took this somewhere properly off-road, but for normal road use like this, totally fine. The brakes are not Shimano. I think they're not necessarily own brand, but they're sort of like not one of the recognised brands, and they don't feel particularly good, but they are stronger than what we've had on the Himalaya, which is good. Okay, so we've got Walton Vale. I'm going to try and do things that cyclists need to do. I need to get out around that G4S van, so I'm just going to let this guy finish, because there's a nice space behind. Some cyclists will choose to position straight away. Some cyclists will not be aware enough of what's the best for flow. So if you're driving, you need to accommodate that. Some cyclists will just move out behind or round these parked vehicles on the left without looking. They need to take some way of sorting that out and doing it safely. Okay, so here I am, primary position, middle of the lane. There's no in the world you want anyone to come past you here, but I am going to take a position back to secondary here because there is plenty of room for people to come past, but I'm being super aware. These manhole covers, some cyclists won't have the big chunky tyres like I've got, which added with the front suspension make those manhole covers an absolute, as I say, non-event. Okay, so just being mindful here of this car to my right. I need this position so I'm not stuck in the grids. There's still room for an overtake, but some motorists will be wary of coming past, and rightly so, because that's not 1.5 meters, but for me it's totally safe, totally fine. I need to move around that little area in the road as well. So motorists, you've got to be really aware and really switched on of the needs of cyclists going round obstructions in the road, potholes, manhole covers that are often collapsed, especially if they're riding a road bike, skinny tyres, no compliance with the suspension, nothing like that. So just be mindful of it. Now, one thing about the bike that I would just like to mention, it did come with an optional throttle. I'm going to go left of this. It did come with an optional throttle for the ability to move away. I did put the throttle on the bike, but it wasn't just for the first little bit to help off. It could go all the way up to 15.5. I'm just going to stay here, not going to the front. Yeah, it went all the way up to 15.5 miles an hour without me having to pedal, which isn't good. I'm all right with that one coming past now. Yeah, no issues, but I've got to be careful here, so I'm just looking. Yeah, that's all right. I'm able to take position now. Here, there's no in the world I want people to overtake, so primary is the thing. and then I'm going to come, no I'm not, I'm staying out just because of the issues with this parked one to the left, and now I'm happy to come back. So if you're a motorist and you see a cyclist doing that, I'm going to stay sort of here with that junction. A lot of the time cyclists are going to need to get out a little further. This one, yeah, it's holding back. I'm just taking a little more space and then back a little bit more primary, going to the left of that grid that time. Taking a position out so I'm not passed on the central refuge. And it's awkward down this road as well because there are so many side roads. So you've got to be really mindful of as well when you're driving that cyclists might be bobbing in or out, or they might just be holding a position so they're safe. Was it worth me coming back to secondary to go past there? No, I'd say it maybe is here, but there's no one behind for a while, so I'm staying put. So this is all being on level 1 assistance. I'm staying put. I'm ready to help the bus. If the bus wants to come out, I'll tuck it in behind. And now I'm just aware of people around. All right, that's okay for me, although it's not going to get them very far. Now I'm just going to put the assistance up a couple of levels. And now take a position out in the box. Now it didn't change gear brilliantly there either. Going to make sure my camera's not slipping down. I think it is a little. Just try and tighten it that little bit. So excuse me if the camera does slip. So this one behind now, have I just caused an issue? Possibly. They did overtake first when it wasn't necessary, and if they hadn't done, we would have been status quo. I haven't done this to get my own back. I've done this now to show the motorists that a lot of the time it's no point overtaking when you're coming up to lights like that. Cyclists are just going to slip past. So just think about that. Now if you're the type of motorist who would be angry, terrible gear changes, wow. I haven't, to be fair to Crazybird, I haven't gone over the bike in great detail to make sure everything is slick as it can be. Should he have gone past there? No, but he did take a fair bit of care. I'm just gonna position out. Thank you. So to the motorists, don't force past when it narrows like this. My camera's dropped a little bit again. Now there's room to overtake, we can come back. Okay, so for the motorists, any cyclists going around a roundabout, they could very well be going from any lane. I've got a nice gap I can flow on. It's a little better with a bit more assistance. I'm going to talk about this in a moment. I am going to park in just in on the left and just try and fix my camera remote. So yeah, I'll have a little gab while I'm trying to fix my camera. My camera keeps on leaning down. Now let's undo it a sec. That's better. Yeah, there is a little thing that I've found with this bike moving away, because I haven't fitted the throttle, because it would effectively turn it into an illegal motorbike. It's quite heavy to move away. You really could do with that throttle assistance just to help you away on these e-bikes. There may be a way that that could be done. I haven't looked into it massively, but there could be a way that that could be done. Now I'm just going to do a quick U-ey, but it is quite heavy initially to start off, which maybe wouldn't suit everyone who was thinking of buying this bike. And it is a £1,500 bike. It's £1,499. But the electric motor is strong. There's a great clear colour display. Again, I'm just staying in this position just so people don't force past, but I'm just watching for it all the time. So yeah, the colour display looks really good. The bike is really comfy. I am just going to come back into the left, allow them to come past before we get to the van. Motorists, you are okay to overtake cyclists on zigzags like this. Yep, I'm good, I'm out. So this is County Road in Liverpool. I'm trying to go on the busiest roads I can find, but there's actually not much traffic about it. It's a Monday morning. Okay, so again, to the motorists, cyclists need to keep a door's width away. So the same mentality I find from motorists, they expect the same from cyclists. They think my car can fit there, that means I'm okay to go, and that's not the case. You need safety space around you. So just make sure, if you're a motorist, that you are aware of that. So yeah, the motor doesn't come in quite as early on pedalling as I'd like. I'm just going to come back into secondary, although there is another lane. I'm happy for people to come past and then back in front of me. It's not an issue. All right. But the seat's nice and comfortable. The gears are basic for 1,500 quid. I would expect more. The brakes are reasonable. They're a little better than I had on a Himaway, but they're still not up to the task, I don't think. And especially, like I said a little bit earlier on, where if I was going to take this to North Wales, no, I wouldn't be impressed. Can't stop there. No one around. That's all good. So County Road, I've got something that I'm going to go and deal with a little bit further up. I'm going to go and see what this bike's like on one of the steepest parts of Liverpool. I'm going to go and see what's what. So I'm staying out here in Primary. Just remember, motorists, that's often where cyclists need to be, going through a junction. It protects them from being left hooked and people coming around. Makes us more visible. But I also understand the frustration that sometimes motorists can go past the cyclist, find a time to overtake, and then the cyclist comes past you. But remember what happened before. Let the guy clear. I'm just going to hold back for this fella as well. Okay, no problems. So I've got to deal with the parked cars. When are we going to get out? There's an opportunity now. There's no reason to signal, so out we go. So I'm on pedal assistance 3. There's 5 levels, so I'm smack bang in the middle. It's comfortably keeping me at 15.5 miles an hour. It's not that big of a workout. So to all the people who say e-bikes, get yourself a proper bike. What? Something that's not suitable for someone's level of fitness. Get a grip. Well done. Had to watch that one there. Having an e-bike allows all different people. There's John. He saw me. Yeah, having an e-bike allows all different people to get cycling, and that's an important thing. So is this lady going to cross and just walk out? I just slowed a little bit. Has got a horn, this. Let's have a little go at it. Ho ho! That's all right, isn't it? Forgot about that. Obviously, before I do these videos, I have a little read up, but this is the first time I've actually ridden a bike. The lady's okay. Staying out in primary because there's no one around. Coming up to another junction, I've been passing other things as well, so I'm okay there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue up here, and I think what I'll do is I'm going to head up a really steep bit a little bit further up. I'm just going to head up this way, so straight on, not following the road, straight on. So it just takes a little moment for the motor to kick in where I'm trying to get away quite quickly. Just going to move back to secondary. This guy's all right to come past, quite all right with him. Now I'm just aware that the van's probably going to pull out in front of me. No, he doesn't. Okay, let's turn the assistance up. We're up to max now, and it's probably needed. So there's some real steep bits up ahead, but it's not a problem. I'm just under the 50.5 miles an hour. So e-bikes, if you've ever not ridden one, go and have a go, because honestly they allow people of all fitness levels, like I said, to get out and get mobile. We need to get away from these cars. It's not doing our planet or environment any good. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a right turn up ahead, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a little look. Just going to use the hatched areas here. I think, oh no, just had to watch that one. Just needed to get out of the way a little bit there. It's a funny junction even when turning in here. Even when you're in a car, the junction is a little bit of an awkward one. So I'm just going to have a little test of the brakes going down here, and then I've got another little hill test for the bike in a little while. We're going to head up back into the park, so with a nice view out over Liverpool. There's the tobacco warehouse to the left. It's the biggest bricked building I think in the UK. It's been converted into flats. It's a nice view over here. You might be able to catch sight of Everton's new stadium just over my right shoulder when I go a little bit further up. Oh, it's just there, yeah, behind the tower block. We'll probably see it now. So the brakes, yeah, they're okay, but like I said, if I was piling into some problem with the weight of this thing, I think I'd have a little bit of trepidation about it. So brakes aren't brilliant. Okay, I'm still on level 5 of assistance. I'm going to keep it like that as well, because we've got a bit of a slope a bit further up that I'm going to go and test the motors. I'm happy to go back to secondary, but some riders may be staying out because this junction to the left, but I can see across it and know that there's no one there. So staying in secondary in that situation is not a problem. But I still need to be out far enough, so I've got wiggle room both to the left and to the right. So all you motorists who keep on saying, oh, you're winding all over the road, you're weaving all over the road, cyclists need to. That's why you give them space. Now here, I am going to use the cycle area, even though it's rubbish. It just then comes back down to a pinch, and you can probably see the road surface differ when I'm over to this side. A lot of the time you'll find that these areas, even if they're surrounded by bollards, they're not swept, and you can have all kinds of stuff in. And like I said, not everyone's going to be riding with these fat tired bikes. So cycle, I'm going up here to the left. Let's go and have a little look. Let's gear down. So St George's Hill, and that is an absolute breeze. It's an absolute piece of cake. And up here to the right, and let's go up here to the left. So you think this is quite a steep path, but it's easy for me to deal with. Not a problem. So anyone, like I said, who says about e-bikes, they're a brilliant way of everyone with all different levels of fitness to keep fit. I'm particularly unfit at the minute, but honestly, you just see me ride all the way up here. There we go. So we've got a nice little view over the top of Liverpool. Let's have a little look at it. You can see Everton Stadium over there to the right hand side. It's coming on quite nicely, and the skyline of Liverpool. Okay, so starting off, still got a little bit of an uphill section here. I'm in a pretty low gear. Let's see what it's like. That's a little bit jumpy when it's in its highest level, so just be mindful of it. So I'm going to head out. I'm going to head, I think, back down Breck Road. I don't need that level of assistance anymore. Battery level has just remained at 100%. Done 5 miles. So the battery size does seem decent. Let's go and have a little look. Yep, I'm good to emerge. Start off in primary, round in primary, back to primary because I'm going to turn left. See if I can take my time as much as I can. Another left signal for the vehicles approaching from behind, and I'm going to go round in primary as well. We've got another cycle area, which don't get triggered if you're a motorist that the cyclists aren't using. Already explained, there's all glass there. Sometimes, like I said, if they've got bollards around them, they're not swept. But even here, motorists, I have to have an ability to move out round here and give myself some extra space. That's why I had a little look to see where the Corsa was. So, no issues. The Crazybird jumper, I think it's going to be a little bit heavy to be doing jumps, but it is a comfortable commuting bike. Personally though, depends on where you live, depends on the cycling infrastructure. I think I would choose to have something like this with a little bit of electrical assistance as opposed to something that hasn't, because the cycle areas and the roads in Liverpool are terrible. Thank you, Mayor Rotherham. Anyway, not going to go into a political rant. I don't do politics. Anyway, you all want a little bit more for your own perspective, but I think the issue with Liverpool is that the majority of people don't cycle in the way that they probably should. You don't see many cyclists in Liverpool, in and around Liverpool commuting. The cycle areas that have been used aren't particularly good. I'll tell you what I will do. I am gonna hook a right a little bit further up. We'll go and have a little look at the one on West Derby Road in Tubrook. I will do. Probably should have gone down there anyway. Okay, so I'm going to get down to these lights. I'm just staying out in primary. There's nothing that I need to do pedaling wise. I'm doing 18 miles an hour, so it rolls really well. No one's around. I hold back, not too far at the junction. The position at the moment's telling people everything. Let's gear down a couple because, like I said, the initial move off on this isn't brilliant. I'll try and get in touch with Crazybird bikes and see whether there's any way that I can use the throttle, but it's limited to, I think it's 6 kilometers, isn't it, that initial start off, because that is a big help. Little update on my Himaway as well. The pedal assistance on the previous ride that I had didn't work. It was diagnosed as a brake lever, so I'm just waiting on that to come. Do you let me go? No. So there's a good lesson there, but when people are slow away, don't assume they're letting you go. So just watching people around, got to be mindful of the lights changing. It's a busy junction, but there's no issues. This bike does have a front light. It doesn't have a rear light, but that front light does work off the battery. Now, for me, if you can stick a front one on comfortably, you can stick a back one. I don't honestly see the point in not having front and back. Anyway, that's something else that you might keep in mind with this particular bike. Crazybird have sent me this. They haven't said that I've got to, just say good things about it. They've just given me the bike in payment for a review. So I don't actually need another bike. So I've got someone in the family who can make use of this. That's all fine. Don't mind that. You could hear the extra acceleration that he used to get past, but just remember what I said earlier, is it actually worth it? Not when someone's getting on with it. I'm doing 16 or 17 miles an hour. That one's all okay. Just keep an eye on this one. I've just positioned out a little. That's poor. It's knowing the world that that was 1.5 meters. So that situation, is it down to not knowing? Is it down to not caring? Look how far it's got him. If I really wanted to, I could have just honestly filtered through, but not actually bothered most of the time. I'd rather just sit safe, be seen. Got an escape route both sides, not a problem. But a so-called, well, I was going to say professional driver, but probably not. Don't really have to take a brilliant yeah, that's a what's that weight. Nick that one off. Are they going to go through that now? Yep. Okay, no problems. So I am going to be using the advanced box and be seeing. So yeah, I had probably a chance to use my horn there. Now, I've had this in the car before. I did it with a student on less than a little while, while someone else had a so-called what's that weight. I think that one came from Cycling Mikey, didn't it? I like that. But yeah, a little beep of the horn in that situation, is it an issue? No. There could be extra danger because people approaching from behind just see the green lights, and then I'm potentially going to get squished. So that could have been a time where I did use my bell. Now, I'm watching the lights. Not many cyclists are going to be as switched on to traffic light sequences and how the sensors work as I am, but I'm just going to get an early signal on. The traffic opposite does go first, but just remind people not long before you're going to go, if possible, if you're on a bike. But for the motorists out there, it's not always the correct thing to do to signal. You've got to prioritise your steering. If you try and signal over one of these manhole covers or where you've got steering to do, you can quite easily come off. So for all the motorists out there saying, cyclist didn't signal, anyone who just relies on signals when you're on the road is a poor road user. I did a quite controversial video a little while back about not signalling. I didn't signal all the way home, just aware of people behind. Yeah, the little look and the slow early controlled this van. Yeah, I didn't signal all the way home as I drove home, and people didn't get it. They thought I was advocating not signalling, and no, I'm not. But if you manage your speed and your position well enough, that's often better than a signal. So all the motorists and even all the cyclists who say, car didn't signal, cyclist didn't signal, it just shows your deficiencies. Honestly, it does. So this is it's not a new cycle lane, but it's a cycle lane that there used to be a bus area a bit further back, and they've changed it into a cycle area. I've honestly driven down here hundreds of times, and I don't think I've seen one cyclist use it. It reminds me a little of New York, where I cycled over there, and there was these cheers buddy, thank you. There you go, people will just walk out, so you've got to be ready to slow. You imagine if I've been careering down there. So here I need to find my way straight on, so I'm just positioning to the right hand side of my lane, even though I could have used the left, because if he used the left, they may have thought I was going left and left hooked me. All with position, all with communication with other people around. So yeah, it does remind me a little bit of New York. Aye, someone's arguing in there, didn't sound good. Problems with cycle areas like this, people exiting junctions, and then you do get people parking in them. Utterly wrong, but just deal with it. Just literally find a safe way through, find a safe time round. Just because you've been inconvenienced a tiny little bit, and that is not an aim at cyclists, that's an aim at road users in general. Oh my god, this Fiesta has slightly inconvenienced me. So what? Congratulations, you're alive. It's honestly not difficult. Some more parking. But again, slightly inconvenienced. Who cares? It's a part of life, isn't it? Does everything go perfectly smoothly all the time? Absolutely not. So, there's a few things there. Cyclists are allowed to pass motor vehicles on the zigzags. Motor vehicles are allowed to pass cyclists on the zigzags. It's motorists passing or overtaking motorists. Another red light. Liverpool's full of them. So what am I going to do here? I am going to use the box. I'm off out, because I want to position here. I want to show people exactly where I want to go in a moment. Okay, so just going to deal with a little bit more, a little touch further up. Do you deal with the roads as competition? Who can get there first? Let's keep an eye on this one to the left hand side. Or do you deal with it as a form of transportation? So I'm just aware of that Volkswagen Polo. This pinches, so again I'm trying to ride in a staggered formation. I'm okay, but I'm just going to show the bus driver I'm not coming round. There you go, buddy. But the dented Polo didn't have a clue. you can spot them a mile off. So here, motorists, why am I taking up this position? I'm communicating with people that I'm totally happy for people to go in this lane too, but I'm not getting too close to these parked cars. I'm keeping safe. Roads are terrible. I need some weave space, remember. I'll do my best to aid flow, but not all cyclists will. Not all cyclists will do the best thing for everyone. Not all motorists will do the best thing for everyone. But it's one of my mantras. If we all work together, honestly, the roads are quite a reasonable place to be if people act in that manner. I'm going to go another level of assistance. So, overall impressions about the Crazybird. The name, first of all. No jokes about my missus. No, my missus, honestly, she's allowed me over the years. I don't mention much about my missus, but she's allowed me to effectively express myself through the channel and do the work that I want to do. She's a massive part of me being able to do this and get this road safety message out, so full credit to her, thank you. But yeah, the bike, it's okay. Seems well put together. It's quite a nice colour. They gave me a choice of colours, silver and green. I chose the green. They were super polite when they got in touch, the company. They weren't pushy. And I literally said, yeah, go on then. I'm just sorry that I haven't been able to go to Llandegla, but hopefully we got some decent messages out there, I think. What am I thinking here? Just being aware of problems to my left-hand side. Stopped. All good. Yeah, no problems. Staying primary across the junction. Shouldn't be overtaken across the junction anyway. And now I am going to come back into secondary. So there is something big coming up behind. Yes. But okay. And the constant communication just by little shoulder glances. Remember, motorists as well, that's not always possible. I communicate a lot when I'm riding. People have said about my hand signals can be misinterpreted. They can't, they never have done. People don't know the subtleties, they get confused by the 360 camera. That's my arm out straight, and that's halfway saying thanks. And it looks different with this camera. So I'm constantly communicating, I'm constantly watching, I'm constantly listening. Motorists, not all cyclists are going to be that skilled. You have to do more to look after them. So the bike rolls really nicely, it's quite smooth. Gears, I'd want some better gears if I was using this on a daily basis. You could change them out. Brakes, I think they're totally detached from, or are they? I'm not sure, to be honest. I couldn't change the brakes on a Himaway because they're attached to the system. So that's the issue that I did, or that I would have if I wanted to upgrade it. But the brakes are reasonable for day-to-day use, not for proper off-road stuff. If you've just got some trails or some tracks around by you, yeah, not an issue. They are better than the cable brakes, but they're still not powerful enough for this sort of like heaviness of bike. My opinion, 1,500 quid. I don't know honestly what's out there on the market. My giant Father Me that I've got, multi-purpose, 29-inch wheels. Yes, it's got electrical assistance. It's got proper gear set, proper brake set, decent suspension. It's all the bike I actually need and want. But there are other options. These fat tired bikes are really, really good for the grass, the sand, mud, those type of things. They are excellent at that, but depends on what you're using a bike for. I wouldn't say it's a bad bike. I think a lot of these sort of like new brand bikes are doing a pretty good job. Couldn't tell you about reliability. It's the first time I've ridden it, but we're still on 100% of the battery after me doing 8.7 miles. So battery life is pretty good. I like the geometry, I like the riding position, it's comfortable. The battery assistance is just about right, those 5 levels, really good, no issues. Most people, there you go, there's Liverpool for you, just riding on the pavement. But that culture's got to change. I'm going to do a left turn at this. Yep, all good. Gap to go. No reason to signal again, and I don't think I would. So, I think that's me done for the day. Heading back home, not long now, so I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I'm going to leave some links in the description about this bike. Not going to push a hard sell. They've offered me an affiliate package. I'm not going to take them up on it. I don't honestly care. Just for me, the most important message is the stuff that I've talked about how motorists need to appreciate certain things that cyclists do. Keep safe out there. See you soon.